Welcome to Swipe Match Date. This is the third or fourth time I'm running this workshop, and every time I run it, I have new things to add because dating apps, like to keep us on our toes and constantly add new features. So just know that everything you're seeing tonight is fresh, it is up to date, and I am very excited to get into it. So we have a lot of people here. We have men, we have women, we have all sexualities. This workshop is for everyone. It's kind of like what the basics that you need to find success on dating apps. And what you're going to learn is how to set realistic expectations, which I think is the biggest thing on dating apps, just to make sure that you're not trapped in that cycle of deleting them and re-downloading them because when you delete the apps, like you're probably going to come back. That's kind of how it works, unfortunately. And part of that is because that's where a lot of people are meeting these days. I think over 30% of relationships are starting on dating apps. Yes, in person exists, but I think dating apps make it really easy for so many reasons. I mean, I love them. We're going to talk about how to create a profile. We're going to talk about how to swipe and what to look for, how to start conversations, how to work on those opening lines, and of course, how to keep your dating app usage safe and sustainable. Because again, I want you to be able to use them without getting frustrated. I want you to be able to use them as a tool. I don't want them to control your emotions. I want you to get more dates. So that's why we're here. For tonight, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So throughout the Q&A, you can drop your questions in the chat. You guys are already using the chat, so thank you. There's a lot of interaction tonight, so this is a safe space. Everyone here is friendly, and we're all just here trying to use dating apps better, so don't be shy. And if it would be awesome if you could put the word question in front of your question, so when I scroll through later, I can easily see where your question is, and I can get to it quickly because I don't have a moderator tonight. It's just me. And if we have not met, I'm Talia. So nice to meet you. So I put some stats up here for you. I was a heavy dating app user and I took a very scientific approach to the dating apps. I was very methodical in how I use them. And that's kind of how I have all this knowledge that I'm sharing with you tonight. Also, I talk to hundreds of daters every month who are using the apps and telling me their experiences. So that's kind of my credibility here. I had over 400 matches on Hinge when I deleted the app after meeting my now husband, and I only had 40 dates on Hinge. I know that because I tracked everything. So just that's an important point here because that is kind of a typical conversion rate for dating apps. Like every 10 matches might convert to one date. Um, I have used apps successfully, not just with my husband, but I've been in another long-term relationship. I met a guy on OkCupid who I dated for 6 years, and I've really seen it all. So that's where I'm coming from tonight. Okay. So a couple things to keep in mind. I want to get aligned on our expectations because again, I think this is where we get frustrated. The apps can be a very emotional experience. You're, swiping through, you're not seeing anyone you like, you're not seeing anyone who has put in as much effort as you. You swipe right on people who never talk to you, or you start a conversation and they fall off the grid. It's frustrating, and the apps require patience. And we're going to talk about the boundaries you need to set in place to make sure that you're not feeling hopeless and frustrated every time you open up Hinge, and you can use it as a tool to, and I mean, any app, not just Hinge, but you can use them as a tool to set up dates and find people who you wouldn't normally meet necessarily in your day-to-day life. The beauty of dating apps is that you get to connect with people who are dating, but aren't necessarily in your friend circle or your work circle or through, if you go to church or wherever. So just a couple things to keep in mind is that rejection is part of the process. You're going to swipe left on people, people are going to swipe left on you. That's okay. You're going to be disappointed sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have a really nice conversation with someone and they fall completely off the grid and it has nothing to do with you. Profiles don't really tell us the whole story, right? And they can't. No one can be summed up in 6 photos and 3 prompts, right? We can't, that's impossible. Um, and just remembering that not everything you feel when you're using dating apps is fact. Like if you're swiping for 10 minutes and you haven't found any profiles you like, that doesn't mean there's no one out there. It just means that that day you didn't find anyone you liked, right? We have to kind of keep our emotions in check. And finally, to have success with anything, you have to put effort in. I think there's a sense of entitlement on the apps. Like I put up my profile, I'm swiping right on people, I'm messaging back, where's my date? There we have to get rid of that sense of entitlement and kind of have a more neutral approach. All right. So that's kind of our expectations here. And one thing that I want to say up front, another before we get started, is that a swipe right on someone is not a marriage proposal. It's just the opportunity to connect. That is what dating apps are for. They're not to find love. They're not to find love. They're literally just an opportunity to have a conversation. What happens once you make that connection is really out of the app's hands. That's on you and the other person if it leads to a date and more. So just for keep that in mind. It's not to find love. That's not what they're doing at all. All right. So let's get into it. I want to start with your profile, and we're going to focus a lot tonight on your profile because this is one of the few things on dating apps that you have full control over, right? You have there's so many different parts of a profile that we can manipulate, get into, and change and see how it attracts people. So let's talk about pictures, okay? So pictures are tough. I know a lot of you right now might be thinking, I don't have a lot of pictures. Don't have any new good pictures that I like. That's okay. We're going to talk about it. But we're going to take, sorry, we've got to talk about your first impression. So that's the first thing that people see when they come to your profile. And by the way, when we're doing this tonight, you can be looking at your profile. You can make live changes to your profile. I encourage it. That's what we're here to do. So your lead photo, the first time we're ever seeing you on this dating app, we want to see good lighting. We don't want to see any filters. It should just be you. If your first photo is a group photo, that is a huge no-no because we don't know which one you are, right? I've never seen you before. Um, it should be somewhat close up so I can like see your face clearly. It doesn't have to be super close up like this one. It could kind of be like this one. Obviously, I covered up these people's faces because I'm just taking screenshots with strangers. A smile helps if you look friendly, approachable. That's really important. And no distracting details. I should be able to just be like, okay, here's a snapshot of this person. That's what I want to see on that lead photo. Again, if you have any questions, you can pop in the chat and you can just put the word question in front like that, and I'll be able to scroll through and find them later. So, yeah, this is again, lead photo, pick something clean and easy to see, see who you are. Also, all your photos should be from the last 18 months, right? Your photos need to be accurate. And this is so important because if your photos aren't accurate, if they're old, if they're grainy, if like, we could tell they were taken from like a 2003 point and shoot, like it's not going to work because you're going to show up to the date and you're not going to look like the person in your profile. And right off the bat, you're creating a lack of trust, right? So accuracy it's not about the superficial. It's not like here's how attractive I am or whatever. It's more about here is who's showing up to the date. That's why accuracy is so, so, so important on dating apps. So we've got to choose photos that represent us accurately, that we also feel good in and feel good about. So yeah. So, okay, your other photos after your first photo should be things that will feature you in activities and hobbies you like, as long as we can clearly see your face. Um, I'm a firm no group photo person on dating apps. I know you might be thinking like, well, how are they going to know that I have friends? Trust me, they're gonna be okay if all your pictures are just you because all they want to see is like who's showing up to the date. Who is this person? What do they look like? And are their photos consistent? Or are they like, oh, here's a photo I can tell is like pre-pandemic, and here's a photo that's like from yesterday. Like we need to see consistency. Like again, I said earlier, you can't represent your whole life on your profile. It's okay if your friends are in your profile. We want to see a full body shot, right? We want to see I mean, animals always do well, even if they're not yours, right? Even if not yours, it's okay. Good lighting, try not to cover up your face, and think about what story your photos are telling and who that may be attracting, right? If all of my photos on my profile were just me at a table at a restaurant with a glass of wine or a cocktail in front of me, that's a very different impression than if all my photos were of me hiking, right? And I have both. I have both of those kinds of pictures. So it's like think about who are you trying to attract and what photos would they be drawn to? Would they be more drawn to you out at a concert or would they be more drawn to you holding puppies, right? Think about who that is. But again, you want to get a good mix. And if you don't have a ton of photos of you doing different activities, that's okay. This is just like best case scenario. If you're covering just, again, clear, well-lit pictures of you and full body, some close up, you're fine. And again, I want to throw in some tips here about taking better pictures because a lot of us are like, well, I don't have any, I don't go out. My friends don't take pictures of me. No one takes pictures of me. That's okay. So, first of all, I want you to follow Christine Buzan on Instagram. She is incredible. She's a magician when it comes to posing. I love her work. So if you don't feel confident in front of the camera, follow her. She will teach you exactly what to do in terms of posing in front of the camera. You can also hire a local photographer on Airbnb experiences for usually under $100. Like if you want some new fresh photos, this is worth it. You're also supporting a local business person, right? It's a good way to get some pictures that aren't, it's not going to be like professional headshot level, but maybe more just like around your location. And finally, we all have phones. You're all watching this on a phone or a computer. You have access to a camera. So you can download apps. You can ask your friends to take pictures of you. It doesn't need to be perfect. They just need to be fresh and kind of give off what your vibe and your essence is. Okay, let's talk about what not to do in photos. So I spent time scrolling on the apps before these workshops just to see what's out there. I see a lot of bathroom selfies out there, a lot of mirror selfies. Let's not with them. We can do better than mirror selfies. If that's all you have, fine, but at least make sure there's not a toilet in the mirror selfie, okay? We don't need to have toilets on our profiles. And this is also the worst one. Pictures that just aren't you. Memes, food, mountains, your dog. No, we want to see you because of that accuracy factor that I was saying before. So this is just some other, oh yeah, more don'ts for you. Pictures of you and your desired gender. Okay. Even if you're a woman dating men and it's with your brother, it's confusing. We don't know right off the bat that it's your brother because we're on a dating app. We automatically think that's like your ex or something, or or maybe you're in a couple looking for a third, right? Like we don't know. So don't put any pictures of you with someone who could look like your partner. Okay, if it's like your grandpa, fine. Okay, fine, but not someone who could look like your partner. Also, no group photos. I couldn't believe this picture was on someone's dating app. Look how far away they all are, all these people are. And I'm like, I can't even tell which one is you, even if I saw five pictures of you. These are not it. Um, Also, this is a hiking picture. I can't see anyone's face in this photo. Not That's not a good one to include. Even if hiking is something you're really passionate about, find a different picture where we can clearly see your face or if it's just of you. And also, please no thirst traps unless you're looking for casual. Fine. But this is giving oh, like, I'm not here for something serious vibe. So, no thirst traps. And then in terms of the pictures of you and other people, like group shots, the reason you want pictures just of you, and look, this is gonna sound kind of harsh. But it's possible if you have a picture of you like with a bachelorette party or like a group of guys, someone's going to find your friend more attractive than you. You're already on an app where people are comparing you to other people. There's no reason to like allow people to do that on your profile. That's another reason why you just shouldn't have anyone your age and your gender on your profile just in case. You never know. So again, y- that's like take it with a grain of salt. Again, you might have a fantastic photo of you with someone else and you really want to use it, fine. But just know that that is happening, possibly. Okay, so I have some action steps for you. And we have action steps throughout this whole thing. And by the way, I'm going to send you everything tomorrow in an email. So you're going to get all the action steps to take and all of these slides and everything. So don't worry about screenshotting and taking a bunch of notes. You can if you want, but I'm going to send you everything. But what I would love for you to do is audit your photos, remove the ones that don't make the cut, try to go through your camera roll, from the last year and see if you have any photos that do fit the bill. And text a friend to ask for help with taking pictures, especially friends who are coupled up. Your coupled up friends are dying to find a way to help you. Like, as someone who's in a relationship, I'm always trying to help my single friends. So I think give them a reason to help you, give them something to help with, and they will happily oblige. And of course, drop any questions you have in the chat. So that's your photos. We're now going to move on to your profile, the rest of it. And what I say here, your profile is a conversation starter. It's not an application to be your partner. This is the biggest mistake I see on dating apps. People are treating it like a job description to be your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, when really it's just supposed to get people to talk to you, right? You're going way too far ahead if you're on your profile talking about how many kids you want to have, how you're not going to date anyone divorced, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. But you're wasting space doing that on your profile because no one's going to want to talk to you. You've got to draw people in. Your profile is like as if you were at a networking event with a name tag and a fun fact, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you have a jelly bean collection." Like that's kind of what the profile is for, just to get that conversation going. So I want to talk about on Bumble and Hinge, any dating app that you're using is going to have a section where you list your basics. So you're gonna list, maybe your work, your religion, your politics, your languages, maybe your your astrological sign, what you're looking for, all these things. I think fill don't leave this empty. Okay, that's the worst thing you can do. You don't have to fill out every single thing, but I think this is a good amount, like work, maybe a couple other things that matter to you. I had my hometown in mind, also what you're looking for, which we will get to. But yes, definitely fill this out. Don't fill out every single thing. I think focus on the things that matter to you and that might matter to your potential matches, right? Thinking of who's looking at this, who you want to attract. But let's take a closer look at this thing. So the apps now have a feature where you can say what you're looking for. And if you are looking for a long-term relationship, and if you're looking for marriage, I highly recommend putting long-term relationship in your profile. Don't leave it blank. I think life partner is a little intense, but that's just me. I think long-term relationship is perfect. The short-term open to long is confusing as hell. A lot of guys have this, and I understand what it means. It's like, I'm happy to go on fun dates, but I want a long-term relationship. Okay, sure. I think that's acceptable. And women, if you're seeing a lot of guys with this on their profile, I wouldn't be turned off by this. I think this is just kind of like whatever their approach to the dating process. They're happy to have some casual fun, but they ultimately want a long-term relationship. I think it's fine. I don't want you to read too much into this. But I put an X on this one because you don't need to add all this. This is way too much exposition. This is way too much information on a profile. It's busy, it's hard to read. Like I wouldn't put your little like spiel down here of explaining what this means to you. Save that for the chat, save it for the date. You don't need to over explain here. Just keep it simple. And you can put obviously this is for mine. I have monogamy, but like put whatever you want there. I think with the monogamy in M1, I think it's not crucial to fill that out. Like you can kind of figure that out in the messaging, but up to you. But I think this is the best one to put if you are looking for marriage, or a long-term relationship or whatever it is. All right, any questions there? Cool. You can pop them in the chat. All right. Let's talk about your bio. So this is going to apply to Tinder and Bumble only, not Hinge, because Hinge doesn't allow you to put the bio. Um, so we're going to talk about this. So if you are using Bumble or Hinge, here's your little checklist. Your bio needs to be filled out. Like I would say asterisk. If your prompts are really good, then maybe you can get by with not filling out your bio. Like if you're really doing a lot on the prompts, fine. But I think why not use this real estate to attract someone that you want to talk to? So you want to list 2 to 4 things you're interested in, maybe one line about your origin story. That's something like I'm originally, I'm a New York transplant or something, like just wherever you're from or however you ended up where you are right now. Just a quick little line about that, giving us some context. You know what I mean? And you want to put in a call to action or a question or say what you're looking for. So I put in this bio, I really liked it. He says he's a firefighter. He's looking for fun, active dates. He wants a long-term relationship. He lists all of his hobbies. And I like this because there's so much you can go off of. Again, we're thinking about how can we start a conversation with this person? How can someone start a conversation with you? The easiest way to do that is connecting on hobbies and interests, which is, as you know, if you've used the apps, a very big focus of dating app profiles. So there's a lot to go off here. I think this is a very simple bio. There's nothing offensive in it. There's nothing weird in it. It's just straightforward, to the point, and not trying to be cute. Things to not include in your bio. These are just overdone. Looking for fun, figuring it out. If you want to know, just ask. It's like the laziest thing you can write. The word adventure, one of the most overused words in dating app bios. Um, Anything about wanting to get off the app or I'm not good at bios, no hookups. Okay, let's talk about this one, the no hookups. I'm not here for casual sex. I'm not here for this. This is why you don't want to put it in your profile. Just putting the word hookup in your profile attracts people who are looking for that, even with the word no in front of it, right? If you're someone who's looking for casual and you just see this because you're kind of just looking for that, you're going to swipe right. Also, some people see this as a challenge, unfortunately, and it's really annoying. So I would say what you want, not what you don't want. Don't put this no hookup, no casual sex. It's not going to stop people who want these things from swiping right on you anyway. There are other ways to filter these people out down the line. Oh yeah, and also let's not use ChatGPT. Let's be authentic. It's like what you can only fit like 500 characters in these things. Come on, I think we can do better than using ChatGPT. And I'm gonna help you because I created dating app bio Mad Libs for you. And I'm really excited about this. So I'm gonna send you this template. This is a new, I just came up with this today because I thought it was fun. But here's a little template. I'm a avid novice hobbyist, okay, something and interest slash nerd slash enthusiasts, originally from place, looking for someone to do something with. When I'm not doing something, I'm doing other things and other things. And then you can do a question. So again, I'm going to send this to you. Here's my version. And I wrote, this is all accurate stuff. I'm a novice gardener and TV nerd originally from New York, looking for someone to find the best pizza in town with. When I'm not podcasting, I'm cuddling with my dog and trying new recipes. Tell me what TV show you're into right now. See, this is the template, right? We've got so many things someone could talk to me about from all these different things highlighted in purple. And if they don't want to talk to me about those things, they can tell me what TV show they're into. And if they're not into any of these things, they're going to swipe left, which means my bio is doing its job. So Um, someone said that ChatGPT uses the same Mad Libs templates. Yeah, I mean, I just very against using any AI for dating apps. For because I want you guys to be authentic, you know? Okay, so let's talk about prompts. So for your prompts, this is going to apply to all dating apps right now. I think they pretty much all have prompts at this point. The main ones, at least, Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, Facebook, dating. I think OkCupid. They all kind of have prompts, and these are like canned questions that you write your answer to. So your prompt, you get on Hinge, Tinder, and Bumble, you get three prompts. So I'm going to tell you, you want to cover your interests, right? Things you're into, something you're looking for in a partner, or what you want to do with your partner, maybe a hot take or opinion on something, or you can ask a question. And all of these, again, the point is to start a conversation. And I included this one because this is the prompt on my husband's profile that I responded to. It's not fancy, it's not clever. He just said, he likes bike rides, live music, board games, and audiobooks. And I asked him, what audiobooks are you listening to right now? And literally, if I did not ask him that, we would not be married. Like that, isn't that wild? So like, again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be like specific enough. And this isn't even that specific. I don't think this prompt is necessarily spectacular, but it was enough to get me to reach out to him.
Well,
Um, Okay, so I picked out a few examples of specificity because I think this is where we really screw up on dating apps. Most people fill out their prompts once when they're like kind of maybe drunk or like, kind of like, I guess I'll go on the apps. And they think they maybe you're spinning your wheels for a while, you're not sure what to write, and then you end up with like, I like coffee and clean sheets, and you think that's fine, and then you never change it again. That's not what we're doing here. That is not how we use dating apps. So I want you to get specific, which is really hard for me to say for some reason. So I shared two examples here. After work, you can find me at trivias with friends, planning my next trip, getting more steps in, or still working. Like again, we have a bunch of things that again, this could be a very general prompt. This could be like out with friends, traveling, walking, boring. Get a little specific. This one was mine that I was playing with. Visit Spain, do a pull-up, take my dog on more day trips, host a murder mystery party, and try hot pot. So again, a lot of people did comment on this, especially the hot pot and the pull-up thing. So the more things you have for people to comment on, the better, but they should be specific. Your profile is also a way for you to show off your hot takes, right? Anything that you have an opinion on, especially if you have like a really interesting opinion on food, travel, exercise, like things that we or sleep, like things we all kind of do as humans. So Like this one, you would opt for dining inside when an outdoor option exists. Like this person is saying they will always eat outside, right? That is a strong opinion. So that's going to draw someone in and be like, they could be like, oh, I guess we'll never work out. I don't like eating outside. Or like, they could be like, yes, I would never eat out. I would never eat inside. Why would I do that? This is a little competitive and sassy. I can kick your ass at golf. This was mine. Like I am part of my personality is I love spending a lot of money on chicken fingers at sports games. So I decided to put that in and I got a lot of good responses because I think, again, I'm thinking about who I want to attract. If I'm trying to attract a guy who's into sports, they're going to like this one. So another example is asking a question. Again, how are we starting a conversation? So I would consider asking a question on a topic that you would enjoy talking about with a stranger. So, what are the things you want to talk about in messages, and can you get people to message you about these things? This one's mine. This one worked spectacularly. You're welcome to steal it. It was my best prompt when I was using Hinge. People had strong opinions on planning or being spontaneous. I just wanted to talk about travel. That was my MO there. This is another one I was playing with. What do you think I talk about on my podcast? Great. This one got so many responses. People love a guessing game. This one I liked. Who was your favorite TV movie villain? Like, again, these are easy things to talk about. So try a lowball, fun question and see what happens. Another approach is saying what you want. Share what you want, not what you don't want. So if your profile right now has anything negative, like I don't X or I don't message me if this. Can you flip it to the positive? I want something. Message me if, right? Can you flip it around? That's the easiest way to fix that mistake because negativity is a turnoff. Like we want to see positivity, and I'm not trying to like force you to become a positive person. I'm just saying on your app, on your profile, how can you be more approachable by being a little more positive? So here are some ways to kind of say what you want, and also people can qualify themselves as they're reading this. Like, oh, um, I've never traveled alone, or I actually hate Taylor Swift. I'm not going to message this person, or like, I don't like car camping. No. So I think this is a good way to screen people in a way. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it's helpful. And you also can, again, offer so many ways to get someone to start a conversation with you. Okay, let's talk about some prompt and profile don'ts here. Nothing sexual. Again, if you are trying to find a long-term relationship and you're trying to take this seriously, don't put anything sexual in your profile. It's really creepy. It's weird. It's like if you're looking for hookups, fine. But if you're not looking for hookups, just don't do it. Telling people how to ask you out is passive aggressive and kind of salty. Generic things. The hallmark of a good relationship is communication, trust, and honesty. This is not an interesting or hot take. Everyone wants this. I don't think, I mean, sure, it shows this person's like aware, but it's not, I would say it's not how do I start a conversation off this? This person put nothing in their basics, so don't do that. I'm weirdly attracted to assholes. Again, negativity, not attractive. Saying that you're never on the app, not a good use of space. Trying new things. Okay, maybe say what, what things. So yeah, you want to keep it. These are just things we don't want to see. And of course, if you use the apps, most profiles are making these mistakes, but yours won't. Okay, so let's take a minute. I want to kind of use the chat to help you guys come up with some prompts. I think what the issue with prompts is like when you're lying there in your bed editing your Hinge profile, at least that's what I used to do. It's like hard to think of things that are interesting about yourself. It's like, who am I? What do I like? What's my favorite movie? What do I like to eat? Like you forget. So I wanted to come up with some questions for you that might jog some unique facts about yourself. Like, what do your friends make fun at you for? What hobbies do you want to try that you just don't have time for? What are you known for in your friend group? What do you envision doing with a partner that's like really specific? Like what kind of trip? What kind of traveling? What kind of activities? What could you talk about for an hour? What like just an hour straight? And do you have any strong opinions on food, right? One of my brother was on Hinge for a year and he met someone that he's now dating, and his most popular prompt was about raisins and how he's obsessed with and he loves raisins. And people either fully agreed with him or they thought this was repulsive. And it was funny and it was lighthearted. It was wholesome. It was his best prompt. So food opinions do really well. Okay, so I would love to take a minute and just let have you kind of try some of these in the chat. I would love for you to choose one of these prompts to just kind of write in the chat Maybe we can try it out. I haven't done this before in the workshop, so let's just see how it goes. But again, this is a safe space. We're not judgmental here. We're just playing around, and let's see if we can get some prompts going. So I would love for you to try. And I'm also looking at your questions. Don't be shy. I want to see what you've got. Um, okay. We've got a lot of great questions coming in. This year, I really want to run a 50-mile trail race in Oregon. That's great. I love that for a prompt answer. I think, okay, the one thing I love to know about you is what was your most unforgettable thrift find? I love that because this would attract someone who has gone thrifting, and would not attract someone, would kind of repel someone who has never entered, Buffalo Exchange or Crossroads or any thrift store. So these are great. Any others? I really want to learn how to skateboard. Oh, that's fun. Eat all of the SC Magazine 10 Best Restaurants of 2024. Ambitious. Okay. These are great. So yeah, I think again, thinking about these things, right? These kind of quirky questions and applying them to these are some of my favorite prompts, by the way. I don't think all of the prompts in Hinge are wonderful. I think these are pretty solid. Like if you use one of these four, you're pretty good to go. Awesome. Thanks for playing along. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, this is I think the cornerstone of my success is the testing on my profile. I would change my profile every week or so, which I think is a little too much. I don't recommend that, but I think changing it often will help because you're going to need to figure out if it's working or not. How do you know if this is all working? And the way you know it's working is if it gets responses. If your prompts are getting responses like this was the one I recently had. What do you think I talk about on my podcast? I got many more than this, but these are just a few that were of the good ones. Um, you know, this obviously sparked something and people were reaching out to me about it. And that meant I had more options, right? For matches. I had more people interested in me and more opportunities to match with people who were interested, at least, in learning about what my podcast was about. By the way, I didn't answer any of these. I wasn't talking to anyone on the apps because I am married. I was just testing a profile. It is down now, but yes, that is how you know it's working if it's getting responses. So if it's not getting any responses, you have to change it. That's the rule. And you basically repeat this process until everything on your profile is getting responses. And then you have a ton of people liking your profile, more opportunity for matches, and it's going to work a lot better for you. Most people don't do this. Okay, so here's your little action steps for this section. You're going to rewrite or refresh at least one prompt on your profile. And if you're using an app with a bio, you're going to give that a refresh too. You're also going to check for spelling, grammar, and punctuation errors because those can be very distracting on a profile. And add your relationship goals if you haven't already. So that's what I would love for you to do for your profile. And speaking of profiles, we do have a review. Jessica, I see you. Are you ready? All right. So we are going to do the profile review of Jessica that we did not get to do on the live session because I was having technical difficulties. So I'm so sorry about that, but here we are. Looking at Jessica's profile, you can see we have 6 photos, 3 prompts. This is a Hinge profile. So we're going to go through the pictures first. We have a photo of her in Central Park, a photo of her in Boston, photo with bunny ears. We've got this selfie. We've got this concert picture. We've got this other selfie. This is a great start. This is a great collection of photos so far. But I think that one of the biggest changes I'd make is to remove this photo and swap it out with something else. This one down at the bottom right of the concert because it is kind of dark. We can't really see Jessica clearly but we can tell she's at a concert. Now, she already mentions going to concerts in the prompt, so I don't think we need to double up on our interests when it's like, okay, you already talk about concerts here. We don't need to show a concert photo, especially if the photo isn't really doing you justice and that it's just hard to see you. She looks great in the photo. I mean, it's not a bad photo of her at all. It's just hard to see for a dating app profile, her face and everything. So that's the one I would swap out. The other note I had for the photos, is to crop this one with the black dress because I'm seeing a lot of space above Jessica's head of these buildings that we don't care about. So whenever there's a photo like this, you want to crop it so it looks more like this photo of her at Central Park where there's just more her, she's more the focal point. Jessica looks very small in this other photo, so I just again want to. It's a good photo. Just want to crop it in a little bit, just so again it's more highlighting her and what she's wearing and just her vibe. The main picture of these pictures should definitely be this selfie. I absolutely love the selfie on the top right. Got a big smile. I mean, Jessica looks lovely in this photo, and I can clearly see her face. It's like, okay, immediately right off the bat, this is the vibe of this person. So that's my feedback on the photos. I like the bunny ears. I like this other selfie, though. This selfie, it's like not, I mean, it's good. It's a good picture. I don't have any issues with it. It's just kind of similar to the other selfie that just kind of looks similar. But again, I don't think this is hurting her profile. Central Park one's great. This is a great example of a full body shot. Jessica looks relaxed, happy, at ease. It's a sunny day. She's a sunny person. It's like, cool. I can get down with that. But yeah, good job so far. So let's go to the prompts. She's got a prompt about going to concerts, top three from this past year, some 41 Billy Joel glass animals. I have 20 on my list this year before July. Love this prompt answer, though. In our live, Jessica did say she isn't getting many responses or likes on anything. So that's kind of a bummer because this is a great prompt. I feel like there's a lot to go off of this, but maybe we've got to think about who we are trying to attract. And maybe for some reason, this isn't hitting for I don't know why. If your target is like millennials, I feel like this is a great prompt. But if it's not getting traction, if it's not getting responses, we have to switch it up. So I would try to keep one about concerts, but maybe rework it. Maybe ask what's the last concert you went to instead of listing these out. That might get more responses. Her other prompt here is the one thing I'd like to know about you is do you have a traumatic hamster story? Really funny prompt. I think this is definitely one I have not seen before. I don't know why you'd want to start off a dating app conversation with a traumatic hamster story. I don't think that's necessarily the best topic to kick off with, but it's funny. I would say since it's not getting responses, if it's not getting any messages, then we've got to change it. The one thing I know about you is you want to answer this in a way that points to the kind of person you're looking for. Like, I wonder to Jessica, do you care if they have a traumatic hamster story? Does that matter to you and a partner? I assume not. It's just a funny conversation starter. So maybe like the one thing I'd love to know about you is, and then it's like how you spend your a lazy Sunday, your favorite place to get tacos. Like maybe try and keep it a little bit more general and not so specific, even though like I'm thinking about this, like, yes, I do have a traumatic hamster story, but maybe your target, um, maybe your ideal matches do not have one for some reason. So again, I would change this out. And the last one, a life goal of mine, own a 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner like my grandpap used to have. Sweet. I don't know what that is, but I guess the person you would love to date would know what that is. Once again, if it's not getting any responses, you want to change it out. I wonder if there's another way to work in this very specific detail of your history and life and goals. Like, I think it's a good answer in that it's specific and someone who really is it a plane? Like, so I don't know. I think it's a plane. But like if it was a plane, like someone who really is into planes would know what that is and get really excited about that. So I think again, maybe this one might be too specific or for some reason it's just not hitting, which is again a reason to play with it. The good news about prompts though is that you can change them very easily. They're a lot easier to change than photos. And I know that in this workshop, I've provided so many different ways to approach prompts, different ways to think about quirky things that people can connect with you on. And so I would go and look at those and kind of make some tweaks maybe just gut them all and change them. Give your profile a full prompt refresh. Again, these aren't bad. I'm just saying that because you said on our live that you were not getting any matches or responses. So that's why. In terms of your basic information, I don't really have any notes here. You say long-term relationship. You've got all the important stuff here that I assume you care about. So good work on that. And I hope this helps. Again, I think you're on off to a really good start. I think again, you've got to max out your likes. You got to make sure you are sending outbound likes and comments, especially if you're using Hinge, because men rarely get them. So make sure you're using that to your advantage. And I hope this helps. Okay, moving on though. Jessica, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk about swiping because this is the other thing you can control, right? We just talked about your profile, which is the one of the main things you have full control over in your dating app experience. The other one's swiping and who you're swiping right on. And we're also going to talk about messaging. So this is really important. You've got to know. I think the biggest mistake people make on dating apps and swiping is they're overanalyzing too much and reading into things too much. I think that's what women do, at least. Guys have a different experience because basically the way men are using dating apps is that there's way more men than women. So men are basically swiping right on pretty much anyone they think after like a few seconds is attractive or good enough or whatever, and moving on. And they're swiping right on a lot of people. Women are swiping left on most people. And so men are rarely getting matched with, and it's not great. It's not great. It's pretty imbalanced. The playing field is not even. Women definitely have way more power on the apps, which is why I'm trying to help women swipe a little bit more generously. Because I think if you're swiping a little more generously, you're going to have more matches. Matches lead to more conversations, which you're going to learn a lot more when you're messaging with someone than what's on their profile, right? The profile is static. They probably haven't updated it. Like messaging is it's not real time necessarily, but it's like fresh and you're going to get a much better sense of their personality. So I want people to, women specifically who are dating men, to swipe more generously. So here, let's talk about what to look for because you're not going to feel attracted to someone from the dating apps. Like, just get that out of your brain. You're not going to feel attracted to someone from 6 photos and 3 prompts. You're looking for one thing, and that is, can we talk about something for 45 minutes? That is what you're looking for. Like, do we have enough in common to about something for 45 minutes and these things? You're looking for a fully filled out profile. Do you have something to talk about? They don't break your deal breakers when it comes to things like if like let's just say you want kids. So if they say they don't want kids, that's a deal breaker. That's a swipe left, right? You're not even going to talk to that person. They live within your range that you're looking for and they seem normal. And I don't like the word normal because that's not what I really mean. I guess I mean they don't seem creepy or they don't seem super like they're just like are gonna be someone who just can talk to you respectfully on the apps, which is what we're going for. And I know that's kind of hard to find, but we are looking for that. And you think they're attractive enough, right? Are they good looking enough for you to entertain a conversation? You're not looking for the most attractive people on the dating apps. You're looking for people who are like just decent. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like, Talia, you're telling me to settle, but I'm telling you that most people look better in person. You're going to tell a lot more from how they move and their energy in person than from the profile anyway. And looking for that feeling of attraction is holding you back on dating apps because you're not really going to feel that. So let's dive into the looking for stuff in common because that's the most important thing here. Do you have enough to talk for 45 minutes, right? If you saw this prompt, it's like, could we talk about something? Do we match on something? Do we have something in common here? That's what you're looking for. Not are they marriage material? Not, do I want to have kids with this person? It's just, can we talk for 45 minutes? Swiping mistakes to avoid, right? Overanalyzing. Most people didn't put a lot of thought into their profile, unfortunately. So I wouldn't overanalyze and spend too much time scrutinizing your profile. Don't judge their pictures too harshly, especially women dating men. Guys like never have their picture taken. It's so sad. So I think again we judge a little too harsh. I think that the fish picture we need to give it more grace. It's like the only time it's like acceptable for a guy to be like, "Hey, let me get a picture of this fish I caught." I don't think a fish picture is a deal breaker on that. That might be one of the only photos they have to use that's recent and accurate. Uh, don't overlook your deal breakers. So if you do find someone who's a total dreamboat, don't swipe right on them if they have one of your deal breakers, like they're a smoker or they're all their pictures are of them partying and you're not into that. Like, no. Um, don't swipe right on only conventionally hot people. I'm sure a lot of them are probably bots or AI or like scammers. Like there's a lot of these profiles. If it looks too good to be true, if it's like really canned, it's probably fake. Um, don't only respond to incoming likes. So this is specific to Hinge, and I guess if you're paying for the apps, um, if you're only responding to people who like you first, you're really losing out on the full dating app experience. You've got to be sending outbound swipes too, and you're limiting your pool, right? By only looking at people who are liking you first. Um, by the way, we're going to go over tonight because I have so much to get through. So hopefully y'all can hang out a little longer. Um, okay. Also swiping for too long. If you swipe for 10 minutes and you haven't seen anyone you like, just put the phone down. Go to a different app. Like, I mean, and I don't mean dating app. I mean, like, go read the news, go on Instagram. I don't know, do something else. If you're swiping for a while and you just haven't swiped right in a while, that's time to do something else instead of just keep going because I do think the apps kind of give you like good options for the first couple minutes of you using it, and then after that, it's kind of like, not great. And if you have a negative attitude, if you're in a negative headspace, don't use the apps. It's not going to work. You're not going to like anyone. And when you're on the fence, just swipe right. Like I said earlier, a swipe right means you're opening to chatting. It's not a marriage proposal. You might get to talk to them if they swipe right on you back and if they even respond, right? Chances are pretty low knowing how the dating apps work. And that's why, again, you have to swipe generously to cast a wide net. I really do believe dating apps are more of a numbers game. And you have to cast a wide net when you're swiping because the people who are actually responsive, taking the app seriously like you are few. So you need to cast that wider net. Okay, action step. Next time you fire up the apps, spend 2 to 3 minutes to practice looking for commonality with people who fit your parameters. Meaning, again, like the kids, smoking, those like kind of like politics, the ones that are pretty much like black and white. All right, let's talk about making the first move because I want everyone here to make the first move. Don't wait for people to make the first move on you, like meaning the first message. I think you've got to be proactive if you're using the apps to get off the apps, you know? So let's talk about some openers and I'll let you read these. Openers don't have to be super clever. Like I said, with my husband's profile, I just asked him what audiobooks he was reading, and that was enough to start a conversation. It doesn't have to be clever or witty or overly complimentary. We don't like those anyway. You can be like, what is the highlight of your weekend? Especially if they don't have anything on their profile for you to comment on. What's the highlight of your weekend or week? What was the best concert, restaurant, event, something that you've gone to? You can make a guess. You look like the kind of person who is super neat. I don't know, is like has an alphabetized collection of books. Like I don't know, just something positive. Or just compliment one of their photos, but don't make it creepy. You could be like, wow, that's a beautiful view behind you. Where is that? Something like that. Here are some other ideas. So if you see a prompt like this, where do you like to surf? You know, where do you like to, anything on their profile is a great way to start. Or how long have you, if they're mentioning an interest, how long have you been into that? How did you get into that? Those are great starter questions. If you want to comment on a photo, what kind of event is this? Like, where are you? Do you go to a lot of shows, right? These are all questions. Notice they're all questions. These are personalized. They're way more likely to get a response than just a like or a swipe right or like a hey, what's up? We're not doing hey, what's up? Okay, we're not doing how is your week? Like, I think keeping it specific is always going to be better. So this week I was, playing on Hinge. Don't do this. Don't do these, hey, Talia, you're so gorgeous. I love the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is way too much. It's so over the top. It's kind of creepy. He's asking me to dinner. He's probably copy and pasting this to like every woman he's coming across anyway. That's how it feels. If like we don't want copy pasted first messages. They need to be personalized. So don't do this. This is good. So this was a guy, he was responding to one of my prompts. He says, he asked me two questions, which I think is too many questions, but otherwise I would have totally responded to this, especially because he commented on Last of Us, which I'm obsessed with. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like you knew your audience. Good for you. Great, great opening message, even though it's a little long and there are too many questions. Here's another example. This guy, he asked me on a picture of me just standing. Like, this picture doesn't have anything else going on in it, but he asked me, what would you say are some of the more obscure bands and artists that you rarely listen to? This is clearly a question or it's a topic he is interested in. He wants to match with people who have an answer to this question. I love this. I was like, good for you. Like you're just coming in with a question. You're not really responding to anything on my profile, but you clearly have something you want to talk about. And that gives me kind of confidence that it's going to be a good conversation. I also want to touch on Bumble's opening move. So Bumble has this new feature where basically if someone matches with you, you kind of have like a pre-selected question they can respond to in the chat. So you don't have to worry about that first line. You have options. It just kind of pops it in there automatically and they can respond to it. So this is an example of this guy. His opening move is, what's the next thing you're looking forward to? And I could say, oh, it's my trip to Brazil, right? And I can kind of talk about that. So I recommend creating your own. Bumble has some canned ones, right? Everyone uses those. Create your own. It'll make you stand out. I really like this, by the way. I think Bumble, I do actually like Bumble a lot. I think it's gotten better over the years, especially now that men can also message first. I mean, I think it actually, I've heard a lot of success stories with Bumble, so I'm liking it. All right, let's do a little quiz. Okay, I'm going to give you a prompt, and in the chat, you can write what your opening line would be. Okay, ready? Let's take it to the chat. What would you say to this prompt? I geek out on Harry Potter, The Office, Friends, Seinfeld, Naruto, all the classic 90s kid cliches, including tabletop board games. Let's roll some dice.
Oh,
I'm just going to ask you to keep yourself on mute. Okay. That's a good one. What's your favorite episode of Seinfeld? Have you seen the new Harry Potter and Cursed Child show? Love Harry Potter. What house are you in? That's a great one. Which Seinfeld episode do you quote from the most? These are awesome. Oh, you guys are gonna crush this. This is great. See, these are the kinds of things that, again, but like also, let's also comment on the fact that this person gave you a lot to comment on, which is what we want to do in our profiles too. All right, let's talk about conversations that will lead to dates. So let's say you've gotten past the first message, you're in a conversation. How do we get to the date now, right? That is why we're here. Um, so I shared this screenshot of this is a Hinge conversation I had back in 2022 when I was dating and I went out with this guy. We started a conversation over fried Brussels sprouts. I was very lazy and I just said, same. I would also order fried Brussels sprouts for the table. And then he asked me, what was your favorite season fried Brussels sprouts? Which I don't think is a great question, but okay, okay, like fine, I went with it. We quickly got off that topic and we started talking about other things. And he offered a video chat in this conversation, and we had a quick phone call. Then we went on two dates. So again, this is what we want. We want some. Notice that our messages are kind of the same length. Notice that we're both asking each other questions. This is the ideal message thread. You're both asking questions, you're both responsive, you're not sending long paragraphs to each other. We're not having the first date in the messages. We're just being like, we're having small talk. Are you normal? Can you have a normal conversation? Can you get through this conversation without doing any of this stuff? Any being sexual, rude, disrespectful, unresponsive, lazy. And I want to just touch on this because especially for ladies here, you're going to probably face some disrespect on dating apps, unfortunately. And I want to tell you how to navigate this. So if people end up being overly rude, sexual, or make you uncomfortable in any way, which is totally valid, you can block, delete or move on. You also have the option to report people, and you definitely should report people who are being creepy and weird. And I also just want to say, don't let this ruin your entire experience if this happens, because it's just one person. And I don't believe, and even if it happens a few times, I don't believe that these people get to ruin your dating app experience and get to control the trajectory you're taking. Don't let them have that power. So block, delete, move on, report when needed. It's going to happen. And just know, don't take it personally. It sucks, but this is what you do. Let's talk about green flags. Like I said, the conversation is normal. It's like just ping pong back and forth. You're just kind of talking about whatever it is. It should be light. It shouldn't be like, don't go too heavy. You're not pair bonding and trauma bonding in the messages. You are just talking about your interests, your hobbies, what you did that weekend, something easy. You want to find common ground. You're both responsive, you're both respectful and friendly, you're both asking questions, because all of this goes both ways. You're not going to get dates if you're so focused on what they're doing that you're not being friendly, approachable, and asking questions too. Okay, so let's talk about how to transition to the date. This is the number one question. You're talking to someone, but how do you get to the date? Let's keep it simple. And this is for everyone, okay? Men, women, everyone. You are going to say, if they pass the test, right? If all the green flags are there, you're going to say, I would love to tell you more about that in person. Or would you be open to a FaceTime or phone call? Would you ever want to meet up? Or you can invite them to something. I was thinking about checking out the book fair this weekend. Do you want to come? You don't need to talk for days and days and days. I think 10 to 20 messages between you both, like total, is enough. You're just trying to see if they can have a regular conversation with you. And if you enjoy talking to them a little bit, you're not having the first date in the messages. And if you have seen enough, you just say, let's meet up. And if you want the guy to plan the date, because a lot of women do, you don't have to plan the whole date. You just say, I want to meet up and let's see what they do. They might give you the runaround like, oh, I'm traveling on business for 2 weeks. Oh, I'm busy. I've got the kids, whatever. Okay, fine. Don't this is why you hopefully have multiple matches that you're talking with. So you don't have to put all your eggs in that one basket. You also have to make sure you're not putting people on a pedestal before you've met them and get really bummed if they don't respond or if they don't want to go out with you or if they make an excuse or just drop the ball. No one is real until you've met them, right? Don't give people that power. Don't fantasize about people that you're messaging with and think about how great your date will be. You have to make sure you can even get to the date. So this is what you're going to do, and you're going to see if they reciprocate that. No pen pals. Don't message people for more than 3 days. People are busy, maybe their notifications aren't on, but you don't need to talk for weeks and weeks. I think 3 days should be enough. And then if you don't want to go on a date with them, you can unmatch them. You can just leave the conversation there. You don't have to respond anymore. Either is fine. Or you can be like, okay, I'm not interested. Bye. You can tell them if you want, but I think just leaving it is fine. Don't give them your life story. Don't let overly sexual messages slide. If they're trying to make it sexual, just block them, like unmatch them, just leave that conversation. It's an automatic no. Um, don't wait for them to ask you out if you're interested in them. Make the move. And don't take it personally if the conversation fizzles. All right. We're almost done here. I'm sorry, guys. I added a lot of stuff. All right. So I want to talk about your dating app routine because again, we're trying to keep this sustainable for you. We're trying to make sure that you're not burning out, that you're not feeling frustrated and deleting the apps every time, another person fizzles out the conversation. So your routine should be that you spend a couple minutes in the morning, maybe over your coffee, maybe in bed, whatever, swiping. Then maybe when you're at night watching TV, winding down, a couple minutes swiping. But if you have matches, you want to focus on messaging them. So if you have matches, message them. Don't just go back to swiping. Make sure you're actually talking to them. And if you don't have matches, then yeah, do the swiping. And I would recommend changing a prompt or photo maybe once a week if you're really into it, maybe once every other week, and be playful. None of this is permanent, right? Your profile isn't permanent. You can change it anytime you want. And if you're feeling salty, it is time for a break. Okay? It's time for a break. people are going to ghost you on dating apps. We're just setting that expectation. Like you're going to get to that point where you're talking to someone and then you don't hear from them. And I just want you to know it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the fact that you're a total stranger and they don't have any stake in this and they just have stuff going on. I had situations where people were like, oh, I was talking to someone else and I'm now interested in them. I'm not really using the apps anymore. Okay, fine. Nothing to do with me. Um, or they're just overwhelmed. A lot of people get dating app overwhelmed, so they just don't talk to anyone. Or they're not really using the app to date. They're just using it for the dopamine, which sucks, but it does happen. Or they're just not checking the app a lot, or they're traveling, or something happened in their life. It really isn't. Usually it's not you, or sometimes it is. Sometimes they're just not into your profile, and that's okay. You will keep swiping and matching, and you don't have to worry about these people. So before we close out, I just want to kind of reiterate that dating apps are for opportunities, not relationships. You're not there to find love. You are there to start conversations that could lead to dates. And what you do on the date has nothing to do with the dating app. The people on dating apps, if you think they're trash, they're out there in real life too. Like, I don't think that saying people on dating apps are trash is fair because you could run into those people in real life as well. And I think that there are good ones on the apps. You know, they're probably hiding behind those mediocre profiles that you're swiping over, but they are there. And finally, your mindset is everything. If you are using the apps in a negative headspace, you're going to only see negativity. That's going to be reflecting back at you. You're not going to see people you like. You're not going to have conversations you enjoy. You're not going to go on dates. You've got to come in with a neutral or positive, but I guess neutral is good enough, mindset to the apps. This is a tool. There are people there who are single, just like you, looking for long-term relationships. You have the tools to find them, to talk to them, and weed out the ones that you don't want to meet and focus the ones that you do want to meet. Okay. So I'm going to send you all the stuff tomorrow and more because I have a whole guide that I had to cut about which dating apps to use, whether to pay for them or not. I'm sure we'll get into that in the questions, but you're going to get a ton of stuff tomorrow too to help you in your journey because I believe in you. I really think this can work for so many people, and I love that you're here investing in your journey and like trying to make it work because now you're equipped to do it. So I would love for you to tune up your profile, to practice swiping with a focus on commonality and focus on messaging with matches to get to the date and have fun and don't overthink it. All right, guys, we're doing Q&A. I'm taking a quick water break. I know that was a lot. And I also want to thank Jessica again. I'm so sorry about the pictures not loading. I'm going to send that. I'm going to send that tomorrow. I'm going to record a little thing after this so we have the full thing. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen here. All right. So I'm just going to go through the chat. There was a question submitted before the session that I'm going to answer first. Okay. So this person who was not able to attend live wanted me to answer this question. And they said, do you have any recommendations on questions or prompts that would inspire me to go deeper than just listing basic information? Can't think of what makes me different. So yeah, when you think like I can't think of what makes me different, that's where like thinking about what your friends make fun of you for, like in obviously a nice way, or thinking about your hot takes, your weird food opinions, your weird travel quirks that you have, or like any quirks you have around your house. That's kind of what makes you different. People will connect with you on that. And another question they had was, what are your thoughts on using Hinge Boost or paying for premium versus unpaid? So yeah, we didn't talk about paying for apps, and I will send you the guide, but let me touch on this quickly. Um, I think paying for apps is useful if you have the space in your life to really focus on dating. Like if you have the room in your calendar to go on dates and actually do that, then I think it's worth it. The reasons are I looked very deep into this earlier this week or last week. Basically the mid-tier version, right? Not the top tier for all these dating apps, but like the basic tier allows you to have unlimited swipes. You get to also go back just in case you swiped on someone accidentally that you want to see. Can see everyone who's liked you, and you can see you also have filters, right? You have a lot more tools to work with when you're paying for it. So I do think the basic, not the top tier versions are worth it. They range in price from like 80 to $100 for 3 to 6 months on Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder. Tinder has a monthly and a 6 month option, and then the rest have a 3 month option. So, is it worth using these things? I think it's worth playing with it if you have time to date. If you don't have time, if you're traveling, if you're busy, if things at work are crazy, you're not focusing on dating, don't do it. I hope that helps. Okay. I'm going through these questions down in the chat, so bear with me as I just scroll through. Okay, I'm starting from the top, so just know that. Um, Aren't we all ultimately here searching for love, even if we tell ourselves we're looking for a connection? Oh, I love this question. I mean, yeah, we are all searching for love. That's beautiful, but it starts with a connection, right? We have to it's like that whole concept of the mountain. Like, you don't just run up the mountain one go. You gotta get to you gotta start the trail. So it starts with connection. And that's why we have to focus on that first, because without connection, you can't fall in love, I think. So that's why I think the dating apps are made for that first level, that just beginning of the trail moment. You're not going to find someone you're not going to feel an immediate spark from a dating app profile. And if you do, it's not them, it's something else that's triggered in you. It's not really who they are. It's like a projection. Okay. Another question. If you don't have any good pictures and would hire a friend or photographer to shoot some pictures, which 5 environments should you choose? Oh my God, I love this. I think I would love for you to choose environments you feel naturally good in. Like if you never go to the rock climbing gym, don't go and take pictures there unless you want to look like a goofball, I guess, which is fine. But like I would say choose environments. Also try to choose environments that aren't distracting. So if you hire a friend or photographer, go to a park, right? Go somewhere scenic. That's going to be a good place for you to take pictures instead of like a busy restaurant unless you can get a good shot like by a window. You know what I mean? I think also trust the photographer. If you're hiring a professional photographer, even from Airbnb, someone maybe who's doing it on the side, they're going to know where to take you. Most photographers usually have spots in mind. And if you're with a friend, you don't have to obviously pay them, but if you're out with a friend, try and get some pictures. And if they don't work for your profile, oh well, you'll have a great picture with your friend you can have for your life, you know? Um, all right. I'm in grad school online. Should I add it? Some family friends say it will scare guys away. I think you could just say like most profiles in that basic section, right, where you're like writing your hometown, religion, politics, like they offer a school section, so you could just maybe put in the school if you want. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you want to say you're working on a degree in one of your prompts, that's great. I don't think you have to say it's online or not. I don't think that matters. And like I said, you've got to test what works. So if you're putting this in a prompt that you're studying something, if it gets responses, then that's great. If it's not getting responses, then you've got to tweak it. And that's the rule for all prompts and all information. And I agree with the person who commented below. If a guy is scared away, he's not the right guy. Okay, hobbies and interests. There's a difference. Hobbies or but both. I agree. Yeah, hobbies and interests are different, but they both belong on your profile. The things you're doing for fun and the things that you're interested in, like books or topics you're interested in, definitely put them all on your profile. Not all of them, but put the ones that you think would spark a conversation. What if your hobbies are solo or non-group activities? Great. Awesome. Again, we're not trying to fit a mold. You have to be yourself, right? If you're someone who is a solo hobby person, there's a lot of us out there. A lot of people have solo hobbies. That's not that weird. So I think definitely put them. I think again, even if you do something by yourself, that's still a topic to start a conversation with you about. Any opinion on how Bumble uses its algorithm for matching since Jillian Tureki joined the Bumble team? Hmm. That's interesting. I actually didn't know she joined the Bumble team. Jillian Tureki, if you don't know, she is a very prominent writer, and I think she is a therapist in this space. And I think Bumble has been doing pretty good lately. They've been asking for feedback. I know that they've kind of had some rough moments, and I think all apps do some sketchy things. Unfortunately, they're not perfect. They are businesses, they are making money. Um, but I do think there are good people on Bumble, and I do think that uh, the algorithm is pretty good. But also, like when it comes to the algorithm, again, this is something that is not in our control, right? We cannot control who the apps are putting in front of us. So I wouldn't focus too much on the algorithm. I would focus on swiping people again who with on people who you have stuff in common with, who you think you want to talk to, and swiping left on the rest. These are great questions, guys. All right, moving on. How do you share relationship goals without getting too deep or heavy? Any pointers? Love this question. And I said this earlier. You just want to, they have all these labels you can put on, right? Like looking for casual, looking for fun dates, looking for long term. Just put looking for whatever matches what you're looking for the most, whether it's life partner, long term relationship, casual dates, whatever. And know that when you match with someone and talk to them, you can explain further. I don't think that explanation belongs on your profile. You can figure it out and I think the more people you can get into your messages, the better because more information is going to come out there, more context is going to come out there. You can actually ask questions about what they meant by that. So I think keeping it on the general side is fine for your profile. Thoughts on and adding your Instagram handle or profile bio. I'm sure you've seen this. So people add their Instagram handle in their profile. Okay. I think it's fine if you are okay with people messaging you from that. Meaning, if your profile is public and someone can DM you, you're basically like, I would only put that if you're okay with people DMing you because maybe you didn't match with them or something, or you want to be more easily found, if that makes sense. I don't think, or again, I don't think it's worth it if your Instagram's private. If your Instagram's private, don't put your, don't put it on there because they can't see anything. Maybe you want to put it on there so that they can see more pictures of you, fine. But if it's private, there's no point. If it's public, go for it. Um, Question for radical ethnic minorities, any specific tips for increasing engagement on apps? Ample data to suggest significantly less activity for these profiles. Yes, the playing field is not even. Um, Unfortunately, ethnic minorities, it's it frustrates me so much, and it just makes me so mad that this is how it is. And my suggestions would be to make sure you're maxing out your outgoing likes. Make sure if you're using Hinge that you're sending comments and messages again to stand out. Um, and keep tuning your profile up. I think again, it's like if you're using the app with that mindset of like, I'm here, but I'm already kind of set back by this, it's not going to be fun for you. So I think focusing on, again, how can you make it fun? How can you focus on having and starting conversations that are more fun for you is the way to go instead of focusing on how it is hard. Um, Again, I wish we could fix this. I wish there was a way to not have this be a thing, but it is. And yeah, I mean, it's hard. Okay. I'm 42 in the San Diego area using Hinge, unpaid, and my profile follows all your tips. But I get little to no likes. Okay, San Diego, definitely, yes, it's a big city. The majority of my time on the app, I have to filter through what feels like hundreds of bad profiles. I believe you. What's your practical advice for seeing more normal people on the apps more often and how to navigate it emotionally and not get burned out? Okay, so I discovered a little trick on dating apps that, again, I haven't tested this too much, so take this with a grain of salt. But if you can open the app and change your location so that it's still within San Diego, but maybe like just a slightly different neighborhood, like the neighborhood next to you, or like, you know what I mean? Just like like pinpoint just a little off of where you live, I think you'll start to get a higher influx of like more people. I tested this a little bit and it actually seemed to work pretty well. But again, I haven't tested it enough, like with my friends in other cities and other people. So don't know if that really works yet, but I would try that. It might help kind of like get more people in your feed that are like better for you, or just people you haven't seen before. Also, again, limiting your time. If you're feeling burnout, don't spend more than 10 minutes a day swiping, right? Like if you are you I don't want you to go through hundreds of bad profiles in a week. Maybe go through enough to, I would say, if you swipe right three times, maybe that's when you close the app, right? Like you don't need to keep going and going and going. The apps are designed to keep us hooked on it and doing that. So you need to set the boundary. Like, oh, I've been swiping left for 5 minutes. I need to get off this thing. That's how you avoid the burnout, is you really enforce those boundaries. Um, in terms of getting to little to no likes, I mean, again, refreshing. That's the one thing you have in your control, is just adding new pictures, changing your prompts until something sparks. That's those are my three pieces of advice. And San Diego is a big city, so I, I think sometimes it is like that. This isn't your case, but sometimes it is like a lack of just people. And also, Suzanne, you're welcome to email me your profile. I'm happy to help. Okay. How far do you recommend setting your maximum distance, especially if you don't drive? I mean, that's up to you, right? Like if that's up to you about how far you're willing to go. And also, I think you can play with it, right? Again, like I said, everything is adjustable on your profile and in your preferences. So if you for 2 weeks set it to a little wider, you can see how that goes, and then you can maybe set it a little smaller of a range and see how that goes. You got to test these things because I don't know what the best thing is for you based on how you are using transportation to get around, what's accessible to you, and how willing dates are to come to your area, right? So those are factors that we don't know, and you can continue to play with it until you figure out what feels right. Okay, these are great questions. What are your thoughts on not on verified accounts? Bumble just changed verification process using an ID. Not sure I am comfortable with that. I get that. I think this is Bumble's way and most apps' way of trying to make it seem safer. I don't know if it really does make it safer. There are plenty of people who don't have great intentions that have IDs that are valid. So I would say it matters more what you think and if you want to do that. For me, if I was using the apps, I probably would use my ID, but I don't have an issue with it. But if you do, like, fine. I don't think people are necessarily gonna swipe left if your account isn't verified, if it is fully filled out, looks authentic, and you have great pictures. You know what I mean? Is if your account looked like ChatGPT wrote it and all your pictures looked like AI and it was unverified, yeah, then people are gonna like that's a fake profile. So I think as long as you're presenting like a real ass person, which you are, you're fine. How should I handle Oh, sorry. How should I deal with or handle running out of people to swipe on? Yes, okay, this is a small area problem. My only restrictions are gender, age, and location. I would definitely, I don't know how old you are to the person asking this, but in terms of your age range, 2 years younger through 6 years older, I would widen that as even kind of by 3 years younger and 7 years older. Whatever your age range is right now in the dating apps, I would add a year on each end. Because think about the people who are like if your age range right now is like you're dating guys who are like up to 42, like is there really a big difference between 42 and 43? You know what I mean? Like I think it's worth adding 1 year on each side. That could definitely help. In terms of using, like, I think for this person, using two apps at once is helpful. So, like, some people might be on Hinge, some people might be on Bumble, some people might be on Tinder. So, I think don't do more than two. Don't do more than two. Someone said earlier they're on four apps. I would say do two max. Four is way too many. Um, and see if that helps. But again, like I'm not going to sit here and tell you to move. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much you can do with that. Um, and just don't forget that dating apps are not the only way to meet people. I think that's another mistake people make is like they go all in on dating apps and forget that they can meet people in person too. I'm not over here saying you should only use dating apps. I just want to make sure that your time spent on them is used efficiently. So definitely keep your options open in terms of in-person stuff, especially if you live in a small town. Okay. What if someone likes a photo of yours but not a question? How do you suggest engaging and starting the conversation? So I'm going to steal a tip from my friend Erica Etten, who is at a little nudge on Instagram. She does a lot of dating app stuff. Her tip is basically if someone hearts a photo, you and doesn't start the conversation, you can say, that was taken in Italy. Have you been? Right? You can kind of continue the story of your photo and then ask them a question. It's like, oh, that was a Modest Mouse concert. How do you know them? Like whatever it is. So that's what I would say in that scenario. You can kind of start the conversation that way. All right, getting through these. Okay. I don't actively coach one-on-one right now, but I appreciate you asking me that. Okay, how soon to tell a match that I have to go overseas for work next year to 9 to 12 months? Do not say that in the messages. If you get to a date with them, then you can say that. That's definitely not something you would ever talk about in the messages because again, they have to pass the first date test. It's like that's just getting way ahead of yourself. Don't create problems that don't exist yet. Get to the date first, then worry about telling them that because if you tell them this, I mean, it's just way too early to share that information before you've even met in person. It's like, do you even like them enough to care that you're going to be going away? Thoughts on having a Hinge profile versus, oh yeah, so yeah, definitely, like I said earlier, you want to, I think using two apps is good. Don't use more than two. One is also fine, but if you want to, again, if you're really focused on dating, and I was really focused on dating when I was single, I used two. But more than that is way too much. It's just like overwhelming and you're gonna feel like you're going crazy. Have you noticed if there are peak times more matches are likely online and active? Great question. And yes, um, Thursdays and Sundays are the top days for dating apps during the week. So Thursday, it's like people are like getting ready for the weekend. Sunday, people are winding down. Okay. If the conversation fizzles or match says something offensive, awkward, or shocking, should you tell them you're not feeling or simply unmatched? I think it depends on the situation. Like if you feel safe enough to say, like, I didn't care for that, I'm, no longer interested. That's, I've done that. Or if you don't feel like you want to engage with them anymore, you've got to protect your peace, right? Don't argue with people on the internet. Don't get into, don't engage with people who clearly are just there to like creep people out or like start a fight or get into a debate or whatever it is. You can just unmatch them at that point. Yeah. Either way is fine. Whatever you feel in the moment. Okay, last question. I am retired. Is it best to leave job description blank or put in semi-retired? I mean, think about again, who are you trying to attract? Does that matter to them? Um, there are a lot of different ways you can phrase that. You can put semi-retired, you can put retired, you can put the industry you used to work in, which is a good workaround, or you can leave it blank. I don't think this is going to make or break your profile either way. So I would play with it and just see what feels right to you. Wow, guys, it's 6:20. We got through all the questions. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to close it out. This recording is going to come to you tomorrow along with some fun extras. And I just am so happy. This is my favorite workshop to run. So I'm just so glad you guys were here. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope this helped. And if you have any questions at all, you can email me at datingintentionallypod@gmail.com. You can DM me on Instagram. I'm rooting for you. I'm here for you. And I'm excited to see what happens in your dating life.